Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always, KB. Be love.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another video. I hope you enjoyed that clip at the very beginning. That was from Jason David Frank's Instagram page. He posted that not too long ago. It was during the filming of the Street Fighter crossover, which you haven't checked that out. Make sure to go ahead and do that. That was really cool to see, but I know it was a little bit old and, you know, the trend is far gone, but I still thought it was funny and wanted to share it. So today's video is kind of going to be a follow-up video to my last Beast Morphers video, and I did say if I got a few questions that I found were interesting that I would make a follow-up video kind of doing a Q&A. Now, I didn't get too many questions, but I did take some of the questions from the comment section on that video, mixed it in with some questions from some other videos, and I'm going to be talking about some certain topics that I found quite interesting. I'm going to go ahead and start off what you saw in the thumbnail and the title and talk about the theme song for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So if you guys don't know, we actually get the theme song for Power Rangers seasons way before the seasons actually air. Pretty much when they're done with it, they release it out into the internet. And I will say, just going off of previous seasons, we could be looking at the theme song within the month. It was like mid to late November in 2014 when we got Dino Charge's theme song released out into the internet, and that season aired at the end of January or the very beginning of February in 2015. Now, of course, this is Hasbro, this isn't Saban, so maybe they'll do things a little bit differently, but I don't see why they wouldn't release the theme song before the show, because it generates hype, it gets people excited for the season. I remember when I heard Dino Charge's theme song for the first time, and I got very excited, and I could already tell that the season was going to be different than Megaforce and Samurai, or at least I hoped, because the theme song was absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite theme songs. So yeah, going off of previous seasons, we could be looking at it within the month, probably late November or maybe even mid-November, so it would be coming pretty soon, and I can't wait to hear it. There's actually been some fan-made versions or just fan intros and songs on YouTube, so you can go ahead and check those out if you want. They're really good, actually. Just type in fan-made opening credits for Beast Morphers and you'll find it. Moving on to the questions, and I'm just going to paraphrase them. So Lupin Green asks if we're going to get brand new cockpit scenes for Power Rangers like we've been getting since Samurai, or if they're going to use the traditional Super Sentai cockpit scenes that we received from RPM all the way back. If you don't know what this means, he's basically talking about the scenes where they're in the Megazord, they've formed the Megazord, and the Rangers are fighting. Now, ever since Samurai, you might have noticed that they've all just been in this giant room doing motions together. That's brand new footage. In the Super Sentai series, they're all still in their own little cockpits like they were in RPM and all the seasons previous, because they were using the Sentai footage, but Saban Brands wanted to do this weird thing where they're all in a big room fighting together, so they replaced the Sentai scenes and gave us brand new scenes with that giant room. Now, obviously, I don't know the answer to this, but if I were to put money on it, I would say it would be the Sentai scenes. It would be the traditional ones and not the new ones that we've been getting, because this is Hasbro. Who knows what direction they're going to go with the show? This was something that only Neo Saban did, or the Neo Saban era did. So I don't know if that'll directly translate over to Hasbro. I know Saban Brands is going to be a consulting role for when they're getting off the ground, when they're trying to figure out this whole Power Rangers thing, but at the same time, you wouldn't think they do step by step the things that Neo Saban has been doing. So yeah, if I had to put money on it, it'd be much easier for them to use the Sentai footage, and I really think they're going to do that because, well, that was the whole deal all the way up until RPM anyways. So if it's going to be easier, and it's something that fans won't have to get accustomed to, and it's something that fans really want back and have been missing, then I think it's the right way for them to go, and I think that's what they're going to do. But I could be wrong, because Neo Saban, or just Saban Brands, I don't know why I keep saying Neo Saban, they're still in a consulting role, so maybe they'll nudge them in the right direction, if you know what I mean. Sonic Ranger asks what I think that the GB stands for on the Ranger suits. Now, GB stood for Go Busters, obviously, in Super Sentai, but translating over to Power Rangers, nobody really knows, because here's the thing, they have to use the GB some way, because it's going to be very obvious, it's going to be right there in front of your eyes when they use the Sentai footage, so they can't really ignore it. They're going to have to come up with something. Here's my thoughts. The G, I think, is going to be Grid. I mean, they're dealing with the Morphing Grid a lot this season, and the entire organization deals with the Morphing Grid. They're studying the Morphing Grid and all of that stuff, all relating to the Morphing Grid. So the G, I think, is a given. Grid. B, I have no idea. I'm completely at a loss there. Now, the B could stand for Busters, and they could be Grid Busters. That sounds pretty cool to me, and maybe it'd be a cool little nod to Go Busters as well, just a cool reference, and well, it's a cool name either way. If I had to come up with anything, Grid Busters would definitely be it, and I do think there's actually a chance it could be called Grid Busters. That just makes the perfect amount of sense to me, and hey, if I'm right, awesome. Now, at first, I was going to work this next topic into its own video, but once I got this question, I said, why do that when I can just work it into a bigger video? But Johnny Marrero basically asks if the Zyuohger's costumes and footage could be used for a potential super season for Beast Morphers. Now, we don't know if Beast Morphers is going to get a super season yet, but there definitely is a chance, and if they don't want to use Go Busters footage, or they use all of the good footage, they could actually go right into Zyuohger. Now, why is this? Because each season is themed around animals in some way. We got Beast Morphers, which is like a high-tech animal sort of thing going on there, and they could very easily fit Zyuohger into it as well, because that's another animal or beast themed season. Now, it wouldn't be the smoothest transition, because this season we have leather and a lot of high-tech stuff, and then you would be moving into, you know, the usual spandex and a lot of more actual animal-themed things. It's a lot more apparent than it is in Beast Morphers, so it would be a little rough transition, but it's better than going from angels to pirates, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about Megaforce and Super Megaforce. While I don't think it's the best idea, it could keep things fresh and new if they were going into a super season. You probably already know if you've been watching my videos, I don't want a super season for Go Busters, or Beast Morphers, sorry. If it was going to happen, maybe this wouldn't be the worst idea. Now, I love the suits for Go Busters, and I do think that it would make a great season or two, but in terms of keeping things fresh, maybe that would be the way to go if they were to do a super season. I still don't know 100% where I stand on that, because there's some upsides and some downsides, but it's definitely possible. But that's all I have for today. I hope you guys all did enjoy it and got something out of that tiny little Q&A and the information at the very beginning of the video. If you have any other questions that you do want me to answer in a future video, definitely leave your comments and questions in the comments below so that I can go ahead and go through it again, do another Q&A. This was fun. But with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.